Alright guys, what's going on? Broken Side Goma here. Decided I'd switch it up a little bit. I'm rendering out another Mass Effect playthrough video, so I decided I'd hop on something different for a little while. So I decided to play Magic. I love this game. I think it's awesome. I know a lot of people aren't huge fans, or a lot of people have been posting a lot of videos up, but you know, I figured I'd hop in because it's easy and I like it. So and I decided to start. I was gonna do some deck guides for some of my favorite decks to start, but eventually I'll get to all of them. I actually haven't decided which one I'm gonna do, but let's see. I didn't unlock all the cards for Dragons because it's garbage, and Trinity of Elements because it's also garbage. I hate them. Absolutely terrible. You know, I guess I will do my favorite deck, Cloudburst. It's my absolute favorite deck in the entire game. I love it. It seems to get a lot of hate, but I'll reset it. We'll run through card by card. Let me add them all in. Click, 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 click. Okay. So, from the beginning... No. Does not want to do what I want? Of course not. Let me scroll through the cards. Come on. There we go. My goodness. Keyboard is not cooperating with me. There we go. That's all I wanted to do. Okay, so to start, Elixir of Immortality. I love this card. I run all three. Not necessarily for the life gain. I like it because this deck is based off of a lot of instants and a few sorceries that are really good, and I like to be able to get the most out of them that I can. So if that means I can draw 4 lightning bolts throughout the entire game, then so be it. If I can do that multiple times, I love it. The 5 life, not bad either, and the fact that it gets shuffled into your deck, so you get to draw it again later, love it. And yeah, we'll get to another card that does something similar that I really like too. Lightning bolt, gotta have it. 1 cost, 3 damage, instant. Absolutely no question. Lightning Serpent, it's a good card. I like it because later in the game, it only costs 1 red, and then you pay X, and it gets a +1/+0 counter, X +1/+0 counters on it, and it has Trample and Haste. So, land drops 7. When you got stuff out, you just drop this dude. He's an 8/1 with Trample and Haste. It's awesome. He can get in for good damage. He wins games. He'd be good for Omnipotence. We'll get to that, but I don't run that card. Shock. It's a slightly worse version of Lightning Bolt, but still really good. It's costs 1 mountain and does 2 damage to target creature player. You gotta have it. It's amazing. Spark Elemental. It's a good card. 1 cost. Trample Haste. 3/1. And you have to sacrifice at the end of your turn. The only reason I don't run it is for the same reason that I won't. If I draw a lightning bolt turn 1, I'm not going to hit them in the face with it. I'm going to save it. And when you have Spark Elemental, people are tempted to play it right when they draw it, and I just don't like doing that. So I take both of them out. Oh, they stay in. Into the Royal is great. It's a 1 and 1 blue to return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and a kicker cost of 1 and 1 blue to where you draw a card if it was kicked. I rarely ever play it for the non-kick cost. I always kick this card because I love to draw. If I have it in my hand, unless I really need to send something back to their hand, I usually just kick it every time because I love drawing the card, and it's nice because some of these cards you can kick it back to your hand, draw another card, and then you save it, and you can use it again. Not this card in particular, but there are some that you can. There's Reverberate. I like it. I keep it in the deck. I'm not sure if I want to keep using it in the deck, because up till this point, I have very rarely ever gotten any good use out of it. It can be nice, but it doesn't always come into play. So sometimes it's nice to just have to use as an instant to boost Electrode or Wee Dragnauts, but other than that, it's just okay. Sometimes it's useful. Spark Mage Apprentice is pretty nice. 2 cost, drop it, deals 1 damage to target creature or player. It can be used just to deal an extra damage. If you don't have anything to bounce on the enemy side, you can kick into the Royal, get it back in your hand, use it again. Always nice. Stormcrow's not the worst card in the world. It's 2 cost, 1/2 flyer. I don't run it. I'd rather run other cards. Although I might consider throwing one in and taking Reverberate out. I don't know yet. I'm still undecided. So far this deck runs well as I have it, so I don't think that's quite necessary. So Stormcrow's out. Thunderstrike is amazing. 2 cost, gives target creature +2/+0 and gains first strike. Sometimes I use this card to trick the enemy. Sometimes I use it just to get the perks out of the instant instant or sorcery use, which we'll get to with some other later cards. Turn the Tide, it's pretty good. -2/-0 can definitely save your life. Like, if you're in a bad spot for a minute, you can use it and make them deal 1 damage instead of 7. It's always nice. I run it, 1, because it's an instant, and that's what this deck runs off of, all the instants, and like I said, it can save your life, or you can use it to kill a creature that would kill you, and then you don't have to trade. Aether Trade Winds is pretty good. The fact that it's an instant, like I keep saying, always a plus. You do have to send something back to your hand, and if you don't have a land, you can always send a land back, if you can spare it. Otherwise, you can send back a creature at the end of your turn, like, I don't know, one of these guys. I don't run... We'll get to Arc Runner in a second. I don't run him, but you can use Aether Trade Winds to send it back to your hand, and then send an enemy card back to their hand so that you save him, and then they don't have a card. But as for Arc Runner, 3 cost, 5/1, haste. Have to sack him at your end step. He's good. I would like it better if he had trample. Therefore, I don't run. Ball Lightning, great card. 3 cost, trample, haste. Don't run it. I couldn't tell you why I don't run it. I just don't like the fact that it costs 3 mountains. Is kind of tricky. If I was running a mono red haste deck, absolutely Ball Lightning all day. It's one of the better cards, but for now, nope. I keep doing that. Omnipotence, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can pay 2 and a red, and you can deal the creature's power to target creature or player. I don't run it, because I don't run a lot of the creatures that have huge fronts like this, and I don't feel like spending the extra 3 mana every time I play a creature just to do that, so I take it out. God damn it, why do I keep doing that? Sometimes it doesn't click, so I have to double click, but Electrode is the nuts and the balls. It is what drives this deck in my opinion. Tap it to deal 1 damage to target creature player, and when you cast a sorcery instant, you untap him, so on a good turn, depending on how much land you have, you can be dealing 4 damage with Electrode, which is awesome, plus whatever effects that you're getting out of the sorceries and instants that you're playing. Wee Dragnauts, another driving force in this deck. It's similar to Electrode, except it's a 1/3 flyer for 3, and whenever you cast a instant or sorcery, it gets +2/+0. So this creature can get big when, like I said, turn 4, or you play like 4 instants, he's getting +8 in the front, so he's a 9/3. Awesome, love it. Windrake. I can't remember. I don't think I run all of the Windrakes. I think I take like two of them out. We'll get back to that if I still have cards in the deck, but it's a good card. I like it. 3 cost 2/2 flyer. The only reason I keep him in is because I feel like he's slightly better than Stormcrow, and he flies. You gotta have flyers. Flyers are always helpful. Nope. Bad. Lightning Elemental, I do like 4/1 haste, but I take them out because they die too easily. Especially if he had trample, the fact that you don't sack him is good. But by the time you get him out, they're gonna have something that can easily block him. It can be used as a kill card, but I like to do other things for that. Skursdag Cultist, not a fan. I don't like having to sacrifice a creature to deal damage. I have plenty of other things that deal damage in the deck, so that's a no. Skizik is amazing. Never sacrifice him unless you can bounce him and you don't have the land, but if you can bounce him, you have the land to kick him 1 extra red. You can do it. Trample Haste, 5/3, you get to keep him. Pretty good. Even if he's just used as a kill card, you can get him for some damage. Air Servant, don't run it. It's not a terrible card. I just don't like having to spend 3 on his ability to tap a target creature with flying. Because if you're paying 4 to play this guy for a 4/3, which is not the worst, but I'm not a fan, then and you're playing like, I don't know, Apex Predators, you can't use his abilities, kind of just a 4/3 flyer, which is nice because you can get in, but I don't run it. Murder of Crows I like, kind of expensive, 5 cost, 4/4, but he helps you draw cards. Whenever another creature dies, you get to draw a card. Love it. I usually don't have 2 out on the battlefield at any given time because you do have to sacrifice a card. You have to discard after you draw, so sometimes that's not fun. And if you have 1 card in hand, then you're forced to just cycle cards, which sometimes works out, but sometimes you want to have 2 or 3 cards still in hand. Prophetic Bolt is the best ever. 5 cost, does 4 damage, and you get to look at the top 4 cards of your library, pick 1 to go in your hand, the rest go on the bottom of your library. Great. Even if the 3 cards you put on the bottom are pretty good, you have like the Elixir of Immortality that shuffles it back into your deck later. So, Spellbound Dragon is decent. 3/5, but when you swing in, you draw a card, and then you can discard a card, and he gets that creature's mana cost added to his power. So it can be good, especially if you're trying to win the game and you have one of the bigger cards in the deck. You can sack it, give him +4, +5, then he's doing 8 damage. It's awesome. Love him. Yeah, this card's a big no-no. I can't stand him. Just no. He can only block creatures with flying. Costs 2 red. He gets +2/+0, and he deals damage to you. Out. Bad. Now, Time Reversal. I love this card. It is my absolute favorite card in the deck when you use it right. It goes hand in hand with Elixir of Immortality, because you shuffle everything back into your deck. If you have your 5 land and you have like 1 card, you play the spell, and then next turn you play whatever you got. Use this, draw 7 more cards. Hopefully you probably draw something that you already had, and you get everything that you lost back. Everything goes back into your deck. They do draw 7 cards, but hopefully you're using this in a situation where you're going to draw the right cards to win. So, I love it. Mahamadi Jin, expensive and kind of vanilla. Just, he flies, that's kind of good. He's kind of big, but 6 cost for a 5/6. I'm gonna say nope. Niv Mizzet, my boy. I love Niv Mizzet, especially. You tap him, he draws a card. You draw a card. Every time you draw a card, he deals 1 damage to target creature player. Yeah, with this, you got it. 7 damage going wherever you want. I've killed like 3 decent-sized creatures on Apex Predators with Niv Mizzet and Time Reversal, and I believe I had Electrode out. It was nuts. Thundermare I like. He's usually a game winner. You play him later in the game when you got him down to like 7, maybe even less than that health. You play him, taps all the other creatures on the board, you swing in, get a free 5 damage. It's nice. The only downside is you no longer have any defenders, so you don't want to play that if you're gonna lose when they untap next turn. But he's good. He's good to win. I'm undecided on Thunder Dragon. I like him, and I guess the only reason I don't have him is because I love Mudge Electrode, and he only has one toughness. So when he comes out, he kills anything with anything on the ground. He does 3 damage to. I'm just not a fan, so I don't run him. No, Thundermare stays. Okay, so I was right. I do take out 2 Windrakes, and that is my deck. And I'll save that up. Just make sure it saves. Alright, and I guess the next video I'll try and get a good gameplay with it. Alright, catch you guys later.